All right, you bastards. Ready to dive into some seriously fucked up shit.
Hit me with it.
We're talking French politics. Not the croissants and romance bullshit. The real deal.
Ooh la la. Sounds spicy.
You know how everyone thinks France is all about, like, berets and baguettes and surrendering?
Yeah, I got that rap for sure.
We're going to rip that Band-Aid off and show you how France really runs. And trust me, it's more fucked up than a drunk mime.
Let's get into it then. Where are we starting this deep dive?
Our Bible for this shit show is Wikipedia's Politics of France page.
It sounds legit.
First off, these motherfuckers are on their 5th republic.
5th. Damn, they really can't make up their minds.
Seriously, it's like they're addicted to revolutions. Remember that whole off with their heads thing? Not exactly a walk in the park, huh?
Yeah, the French don't mess around when it comes to politics.
And you want to know the kicker? They don't even have a Bill of Rights like we do.
Seriously. So what the hell do they have?
They got this old-ass document from, like, 1789 called the Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen.
Sounds dusty.
It's like their political Bible or some shit. It lays out all this stuff about basic freedoms and equality.
So basically, they're still running on Enlightenment-era software.
Pretty much. But here's where shit gets really wild. They've got this weird-ass system with a president and a prime minister.
2 bosses. Sounds like a recipe for disaster.
You got that right. So the president, right, gets elected by the people. And not just some electoral college bullshit. They need a full-on majority.
So they actually have, like, real power. Damn.
Oh, they got power on.
Okay.
And with that power, they get to pick their little sidekick, the prime minister, and all the other ministers. Sounds pretty sweet, right?
Yeah, until you realize the parliament could be controlled by the opposition.
Exactly. And that's when you get cohabitation.
Yeah.
It's like a political shotgun wedding from hell.
So the president is stuck working with a prime minister they probably hate.
Yep. Imagine sharing a desk with someone you despise every single day. That's cohabitation.
That's brutal. Did this happen a lot?
Yeah, it used to be more common before 2002 when the presidential terms were longer.
So basically, it was just a recipe for gridlock.
Basically. Now, speaking of presidents, let's talk about Macron, the dude currently running the show. He got reelected in 2022, but the legislative election that same year was a total shit show.
What happened?
Macron lost his majority, and the far left and far right parties, they made some serious gains.
So what does that mean? Like a hum parliament situation?
You got it. Nobody's in charge. Everyone's fighting for control. It's like a political mosh pit.
And who's holding the beer in this mosh pit?
The centrist right party. They're the ones calling the shots now.
Interesting. So who makes the laws in this whole mess?
That would be the National Assembly. It's like their main legislative body with 577 deputies elected by the people. They're supposed to, like, make laws and shit.
And can they fire the government too, or what?
Oh, yeah. They have this thing called a motion of censure. Basically, it's a vote of no confidence. If enough of them say fuck you to the government, they're out.
Sounds like a pretty big stick to wield.
It is, but they've only used it twice in the entire history of the Fifth Republic. So you know shit has to be really fucked up for them to actually do it.
So they're more bark than bite.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah.
But remember that election I mentioned earlier? The one where Macron lost his majority?
Yeah.
The National Assembly is a total mess right now because of it. Nobody has a clear majority, so every single vote is a goddamn battle royale.
Sounds exhausting.
It is. And then, to make matters even worse, you've got the Senate.
The Senate? What's that all about?
It's supposed to be like the upper house of Parliament, but it's basically useless.
Useless? How so?
First off, they get elected indirectly by local officials, and no matter what's going on in the rest of the country, they always seem to have a right-wing majority. It's like their own little retirement home for conservative politicians.
So basically, it's a political dead end.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's so bad that even a former socialist prime minister called the Senate an anomaly. That's like your own team calling you a fucking loser.
Ouch. All right, so we've got a National Assembly that's a complete shit show and a Senate that's basically irrelevant. What else could possibly go wrong?
Buckle up, Buttercup, because the French court system is about to make your head spin.
Hit me.
They've got this whole 2-track system. One set of courts for your everyday crime, and a whole other system if you have beef with the government.
Wait, what? So if you get a parking ticket, you go to one court, but if you sue the government, you go to a different one.
You got it. Bureaucracy at its finest.
That's some next-level bullshit.
And here's the real kicker. Judges are supposed to be independent, right? Protected from political pressure and all that jazz.
Yeah, that's how it should be.
But public prosecutors, those guys are controlled by the Minister of Justice.
Hold on. You're telling me the person who decides whether to prosecute someone is appointed by the president?
Bingo.
That sounds like a recipe for corruption if I've ever heard one.
It's basically a big fuck you to the idea of an impartial justice system.
Yikes. So, we've got a president with a ton of power, a parliament that's a complete mess, a useless Senate, and a court system that seems rigged. What the hell is left?
Well, their local governments actually have a surprising amount of power.
Seriously, I thought France was all about centralized power.
It is, but they've got this three-tiered system for local government. You've got communes, departments, and regions, each with their own little elected councils.
So it's like a mini version of the national government.
Kinda. And the big boss in each department is this thing called a Conseil Général.
Conseil Général, eh?
Sounds fancy.
They have a surprising amount of power considering the national government could technically dissolve them. But that almost never happens.
So these local councils are running their own little fiefdoms?
Pretty much. It's like a teenager who thinks they're rebelling, but their parents are secretly letting them get away with it.
I could dig it. And all this is just mainland France, right? What about those islands they've got scattered all over the world?
Ah, the French territories. Yeah, those aren't just for tourists and Fanta cocktails. Tell me more.
They've got territories all over the globe. Some are considered regions, basically like part of France proper.
Okay.
Others are territories with a bit more freedom to do their own thing.
So it's like a family with some kids on a tight leash and others allowed to stay out later.
Exactly. And get this, French law doesn't always apply in these places.
Right.
And some of them are even part of the EU.
It's like a choose-your-own-adventure for legal systems.
You got that right. It's a total clusterfuck. But hey, at least it makes things interesting, right?
Definitely keeps things spicy. So where do we go from here?
We've only just scratched the surface, my friends. Stay tuned, because there's a lot more fucked up shit to uncover.
It's a beautiful disaster, that's for sure. Like, they took bits and pieces from every messed up political system and said, hold my beer, watch this.
Yeah, it's held together by duct tape and prayers, but somehow it limps along. And we can thank good old Charles de Gaulle for this Frankenstein's monster of a government. You know, back in the late 50s, he was like the OG badass of French politics. War hero, basically wrote himself into the damn Constitution.
Yeah, de Gaulle was a force to be reckoned with. He was sick of the Fourth Republic's bullshit, all those weak governments spinning in and out like a revolving door. So he cooked up the Fifth Republic, giving the president a shit ton of power, basically said, here's the keys to the kingdom, go nuts.
And some presidents definitely went nuts. Look at Mitterrand. The dude was in power for 14 years. Longer than any other French president.
Right.
Basically ruled like a king, pushing through all sorts of crazy policies and centralizing power like a motherfucker.
Mitterrand was a trip, man. Socialist who nationalized industries and expanded social welfare, but also had this authoritarian side. Dude was obsessed with secrecy and control, pissed a lot of people off, like he was playing 4D chess while everyone else was stuck with checkers.
Then you've got Sarkozy, the hyperactive little gremlin who was always making headlines, all about the bling-bling, hanging out with celebrities, trying to turn France into some kind of reality TV show.
Sarkozy was a showman, that's for sure. Loved the spotlight, wasn't afraid to shake things up. But some people thought he was reckless, impulsive. His legacy is a mixed bag, to say the least.
And let's not forget Holland, the dude who couldn't keep his dick in his pants, totally overshadowed by his own messy personal life. The anti-Sarkozy, awkward, low-key, kind of just there.
Yeah, Holland was an enigma, came in promising change but couldn't deliver, got slammed for his handling of the economy and the whole terrorism thing. Like, he got dealt a shitty hand and couldn't figure out how to play it.
So we've had strong presidents, showman presidents, and presidents who couldn't keep it in their pants. It's like a political version of The Bachelor, but instead of roses, they're handing out nuclear codes.
And that's what makes French politics so damn fascinating. Unpredictable, dramatic, and often batshit crazy. It's like a soap opera on crack.
Speaking of batshit crazy, let's talk about the shitstorm brewing in France right now. Stagnant economy, unemployment through the roof, social unrest bubbling over. It's like a pressure cooker ready to explode.
Yeah, one of the biggest issues is economic inequality. The gap between the rich and the poor is getting wider and wider, and the working class is pissed off. They feel like the system is rigged against them.
And then you've got the rise of extremism on both sides. The far left is all about burning it all down, while the far right is obsessed with immigration and Islamophobia. It's like a political tug of war, and the rope is about to snap.
The far right has been gaining serious traction lately. They prey on people's fears about globalization, terrorism, cultural change. It's a dangerous game, and it could have serious consequences for France and the rest of Europe.
Yeah, some scary shit, like watching history repeat itself. Charismatic leaders spewing hate and division, and people are eating it up. It's like a collective brain fart.
What's even more messed up is that these extremist parties are starting to creep into mainstream politics. They're winning seats in parliament, influencing policy, becoming normalized. It's like watching a slow-motion train wreck.
So what the hell can be done? Is France doomed to become a failed state, overrun by extremists and tearing itself apart?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? There are no easy answers. But I think it starts with addressing the root causes. Tackling economic inequality, promoting social justice, creating opportunities for everyone.
Sounds good on paper, but how do you actually pull that off? Especially in a country like France, with its history of revolutions and its deeply ingrained class system. It's like trying to turn a battleship on a dime.
It's a massive challenge, but I think it's possible. It requires strong leadership, bold policies, and a willingness to shake things up. Leaders who will stand up to the extremists, who are committed to inclusivity and tolerance, who have a vision for a better future.
Okay, I'm starting to feel a bit more optimistic. Maybe France can pull its shit together after all.
Yeah.
But let's be real, it's going to be a long and bumpy road. It's like trying to climb Mount Everest in flip-flops.
Exactly. It'll take a lot of hard work, determination, and maybe a sprinkle of luck. But France has the potential to overcome these challenges and come out stronger, more unified, more just.
I'm digging this new optimistic vibe, but let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Right.
We still need to talk about some of the other weird and wonderful aspects of French politics, like their love of bureaucracy, their obsession with food, and their bizarre relationship with the rest of the world.
Oh yeah, we're just getting started. Hold on to your berets, folks, because it's about to get even more interesting.
All right, let's get back to this shit show. France's relationship with the rest of the world. It's like that friend who's always got to be the center of attention, but deep down, they're insecure as fuck.
Yeah, it's a weird mix. On the one hand, they think they're this global powerhouse, a beacon of culture and shit. They're still clinging to that whole glory of France bullshit.
And they love throwing their weight around, especially in their former colonies.
Right.
Like, they can't let go of the past.
They still have their fingers in a lot of pies, especially in Africa. Military interventions, controlling currencies, pulling strings behind the scenes. It's neocolonialism, straight up.
But at the same time, they're shitting themselves about becoming irrelevant. They're always trying to prove they're still a big swinging dick on the world stage, like they're overcompensating for something, if you know what I mean.
And then there's their love-hate relationship with the U.S. They admire our power and culture, but they're also jealous as hell, like a sibling rivalry, but with nukes.
Yeah, they love to trash American culture, but they're secretly binge-watching Netflix just like everyone else.
And they're quick to criticize our foreign policy, but they're the first to call us up when they need help with a military intervention.
It's the definition of frenemy. They need us, but they hate to admit it.
And let's not forget about their role in the European Union. They're one of the founding members, but they're also the biggest pain in the ass.
Always bitching about EU regulations, but they're the first to grab the benefits.
They want to have their cake and eat it too. They want the power and influence that comes with being part of the EU, but they don't want to give up any of their precious sovereignty.
It's like they're trying to play both sides, be in the club, but also above it.
And it's causing a lot of friction with the other EU countries. They're getting sick of France's bullshit.
So where the hell does France go from here? Will they keep playing this game, or are they going to finally pick a side?
It's a tough call. They're facing some serious challenges, both at home and abroad. Economy's in the shitter, social unrest is growing, and their place in the world is getting shaky.
It's like they're at a crossroads. They need to figure out what kind of country they want to be in this crazy-ass 21st century.
Global power, European leader, or just a weird little country known for wine and cheese. Tough choices.
Some big-ass questions, and frankly, I don't have the answers. But one thing's for sure. French politics is never boring.
That's the truth. It's a wild ride, full of drama and intrigue. And it's only going to get more interesting from here on out.
Well, there you have it, folks. A crash course in the glorious shit show that is French politics. From the Fifth Republic to their fucked up legal system to their love-hate relationship with the world.
We've dug into their history, their culture, and the challenges they're facing.
Hopefully you've got a slightly better understanding of how this fascinating and frustrating country works.
Because let's be real, trying to understand French politics is like solving a Rubik's Cube while riding a unicycle. It's challenging, it's confusing, and you'll probably end up with a headache.
But hey, at least it's entertaining. So next time you see some news about France, remember what you've learned today.
And maybe, just maybe, you'll be able to make some sense of the chaos.
All right, you magnificent bastards, that's it for this deep dive. Go out there and impress your friends with your newfound knowledge of French politics. And if anyone gives you a weird look, just tell them you learned it all from us. Peace out.